Guys, this is a pretty lengthy document, so it will be shot in several parts. I'm going to try to shorten it from previous films. This document's kind of beat up a little bit. It's over a decade old. As you can see, it's a certified copy. Still in its original binding. And it was filed in the State of California 3rd Appellate District, which I've been unable to go through because I keep on getting harassed and I keep on having attempted murder occur. On several occasions, I'm also facing another attempted murder by the parties involved in this. As you can see, this is the district attorney. Gary G. Gibson is the one who presided over this case at the trial level. And I'm going to prove to you how much of a kangaroo court this is and how totally illegal everything is, and that this is nothing more than a case of documented child trafficking and kidnapping. These people got away with kidnapping my daughter completely and utterly. And this is the description. Also, this is also just the appendix. This tells you what the case number is, when it was filed, and the district attorney is a joke. But this whole matter started several years ago when I filed a Human Rights Commission complaint for sexual harassment against a number of men at DeRose and Associates Kirby dealership, which is no longer in business. They settled out of court. They were supposed to pay me money. They never paid me. Instead, they had been retaliating, harassing, and terrorizing my family for over 20 years. But I'm going to prove to you a number of problems with the record. And this Lisa G. Fisher is also a child trafficker, in my opinion. And interestingly, she may be a relative to one of the individuals that I filed a Human Rights Commission complaint against for sexual harassment. She may be related to William Fisher, who was in that complaint, and may be related to the sister, Heather Fisher, who I knew as Worthington at the time, and who targeted my brother Derek and had a child with him. She's gone through several names. I guess she's been married 3-4 times. But her name was Fisher. When I knew it was Worthington, she did that, probably concealed that she was related to William. And so this is the problem in this case. You'll see a lot of names or similar names showing up, all of them involving pretty much the same parties or families of the same parties, which is important because if she is related to the individuals in this complaint, this is proof of retaliation, harassment, stalking, kidnapping, and basically a criminal organization. But Heather lives in Utah, and so if she did, I do know that she also pretty much stole my brother Derek's kid. And if she stole my kid, she should be in prison too. But this woman lies and says that the request of assistance is based upon a guardianship custody order from the state of New Hampshire and Merrimack Probate Court dated October 12th of 2000. And she's saying that there's a certified copy of the New Hampshire ordered dated 7/16 of 2008, as well as an exhibit. And again, she says that a second edition of the same copy is also Exhibit 3. Exhibit 2, so Exhibit 2 and 3 are all the same copy of the same thing, saying that they are dated October 12th of 2000. And so I'm going to prove that she's a liar, that this is not the case at all. She also states that it's unnoticed, so this is proof of a denial due process. You will also notice that there could be 5 states involved in the backdrop of this case, maybe 6. And this is important later on because of a jurisdictional problem. I'm living in California. The other party resides in Pennsylvania, and yet we have New Hampshire, a county in New Hampshire, claiming that they gave them my kid unnoticed to me ex parte, claiming that I was a flight risk. Well, if you're trying to kidnap my kid, then obviously that would be a problem. So yes, but that is a denial of due process. Right there. They admit it. Right there. Denial of due process. I wasn't noticed in 2 states, maybe 3, 4, 5, or 6 states if they filed any other paperwork. And of course, how am I going to appeal in New Hampshire if I don't notice? She also didn't know the name of my child, this woman who claims to be the guardian line of my daughter, a woman I have never met, by the way, but yet knows this Lisa Fisher, who may be a relative to my nephew, and may also be related against someone who I filed previously before she became a relative to a Human Rights Commission complaint of sexual harassment involving a company that has a history of running rape gangs, which we will discuss later. And here we have that document that she claims on Exhibit 2 and 3. Apparently, as you can see, it is dated October. It says that on October 12, 2000, that these people were appointed guardians. However, it is not dated October 12th of 2000. It is dated August 5th of 2009. Signed by a woman by the name of Peggy M. Kraft, which we'll find later, was residing in Mesa, Arizona, who claims to be a deputy register in Arizona, but yet this is supposedly a court document in Merrimack Probate Court. Something's already wrong. And again, I have papers proving that Peggy is not living in New Hampshire at the time. We also have no valid probate seal showing through. If there was one, it would actually leave kind of a mark that you can see that's visible when you print it. And there's no, again, this is the certified copy. So how is this valid? This is just evidence of antedating 9 years after the fact, which is actually a federal crime. That is not proof that they were appointed October 12th of 2000 to be a guardian of anything. This is just proof of antedating and proof of kidnapping and child trafficking by the court. Again, this is the same double copy of the same document. And again, as you can see, they live in Lewistown, Pennsylvania. They do not live in New Hampshire. And as we can see, they know that I am living in Redding, California, because that's a P.O. box, but they know I'm living there. We have no probate seal. And again, it is dated August 5th of 2009. We have nothing dated October 12th of 2000 at all. This is women claiming that they are guardians, but no actual document signed on October 12th of 2000 exists. So that means that Lisa Fisher, back here, who states, "There's nothing in the New Hampshire record available to us that indicates whether the New Hampshire court identified the jurisdictional basis it relied upon in exercising jurisdiction." Well, that's because they didn't have any. Obviously, if 2 people live in different states. And since the parents are alive, there's no reason to appoint a guardian of a child. It's not custody. Since when does a guardianship override the custody of parents? As you can see, it's not dated October 12th of 2000. As I showed you, it's dated August 5th of 2009. So this woman, obviously, is a liar. So she committed perjury. She should be in jail. And then they said in July 16th of 2008 that she became legal guardian. But I thought she was already legal guardian all the way back 9 years ago, according to the one dated on August 5th of 2009. Why would they need to be reappointed legal guardian on July 16th of 2008 if they were already guardians? Something's wrong. Then we have a problem. Another again. A police report was filed with Nashville Police Department. No other action was taken. The child was not placed in missing persons. Obviously, because guess what? She wasn't missing. And there's another problem because Nashua, in the state of New Hampshire, is located in Hillsborough County, not Merrimack County. So right there we have a venue jurisdiction problem. Again, even if I were living there or had lived there. But again, we have a problem with the paperwork. Is there something wrong? And again, this woman didn't even know whether my daughter's name is Aradea or Ariel Marshall. Apparently she has a problem with Hebrew names. And then we see Peggy Kraft signing this on August 5th of 2009, claiming these people are guardians over my kid, while she's living in Arizona. What is a deputy register in Arizona doing signing paperwork? Okay, this is the one July 17, 2008, claiming these people guardians reappointed. But now we have a bigger problem. Not only do we not have Peggy Kraft here, but we have someone by the name of Jane Bradstreet. As you can see, they claiming that this is the court copy. Again, we have no probate seal showing through. We have no signature, which means that this is completely void. And again, they're saying that they're guardians on July 16th of 2008. Again, why would they need to be reappointed in 2008 if they're already guardians back here at this time? Somebody is committing fraud upon the court, maybe? How can they be guardians when we have no signature? And of course, they say July 24th of 2009, court order has not been vacated and has not been taken up on appeal. Bullshit. It was taken up on appeal here, because I finally got notice and was able to file the appeal. But before that, as you read earlier, there was no notice given to me. So of course I can't fucking appeal, because I didn't get notice, which is a denial of due process. If you file next payday orders, then of course, how am I going to appeal when I don't have notice? Petition is being sought in an unnoticed ex parte proceeding. So you have ex parte proceedings going on in 2 states simultaneously, and maybe in other states, as we have somebody in Arizona involved in this. And maybe even in Texas and Massachusetts, which I will mention later. So, again, these people are nothing more than kidnappers. And then this woman has, again, on the same date, on August 5th of 2009, Yet it said it's dated July 24th of 2009. Are you seeing a problem here? How can she true test something when she's in Arizona? And again, we have anti-dating going on, which is again evidence of a federal crime. And this isn't even a proper order. But they consider this to be a warrant. There's no description. They don't even know or are unsure about the name of the child. They had no... warrants have to be very specific if they do. They list the child as male. There was no hair or eye color cited. The name of the child, they were unsure of her. The only thing that they had right maybe was partly was she is white, but she's mixed. Well, she actually is Indian, but she's, the U.S. won't recognize Abenaki. Instead, they have been genociding Abenaki for generations. They consider us extinct, and they are trying to make us go extinct. And so this is just, if she is if we do have Abenaki in our family, which I have found evidence of, then that's just proof of genocide. In addition, though, because we are a mixed lineage, Manx, which is protected in the EU, and also Kalasha, which I was surprised that we had that in our family, but it's on the maternal side. There were only maybe 4,000 or 5,000 full-blooded Kalasha left in the world. So that is, again, more evidence of genocide. So I guess they're in line with terrorists. They want to genocide our families. Disgusting. The United States, you're disgusting. Claim that you're free. You guys are a bunch of liars. Bunch of liars. All of you. Now I get an arrow up here because, again, later on when I discuss in other parts, you'll find out that Mr. Gibson is also related to a party connected, and so wasn't Ginger Green. You'll find similar names showing up repetitively, and the conflicts of interest not even notified. And again, they ignore the fact that I brought up jurisdictional problems with the other orders. This was nothing more than a kidnapping that these people got away with. And we're going to bring out subject matter jurisdiction. Okay, this is the family division. And as you can see, we have a problem, not just with venue. It says that guardianship of minors is handled by the family division. So as you can see, they were supposed to file this with the family division, and they're desperately trying to make it look like the probate court, but if they were reappointed, then they should have filed in the family division. We get a big problem. And there we have it. And now, I'm going to show you even bigger problems with their lies. This here is my old leases, HAP contracts, and somebody else is at odds with them. This here is from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Office of Public and Indian Housing. Housing Assistant Payment Contract. This is a Section 8 Tenant-Based Assistance Contract, HAP contract, and as you can see, I will have this HAP contract for quite some time. And I actually had it way back in 2002, but my HAP contract here shows my minor child living with me at 14 Hobbs Street in Nashua, New Hampshire, which is Hillsborough County in New Hampshire. Anybody can look that up. It's general information. You can even find it on Wikipedia. Not that I usually consider Wikipedia that valid of a source, but for general stuff like that, they usually are not going to have that correct. And you can even look up Nashua, New Hampshire itself, and you'll find that it sits in Hillsborough County and not in Merrimack County. So if the other party is living in Pennsylvania, and I am living, even if I were living in New Hampshire, what they file would be in the wrong venue, and therefore it would be a lack of jurisdiction. Wouldn't even be enforceable. Instead, they claim my daughter is residing at a P.O. box in Concord, New Hampshire, which isn't even correct. So they lie about her address in order to make it look like they have jurisdiction in a P.O. box. And as you can see, this is my HAP contract. And now we got a bigger problem. We have Pam Kennedy on here, which is why you'll find out that the U.S. Supreme Court Justice Kennedy stepped down. And you're going to find out that he is also a relative to somebody involved in this. And of course, Christopher Cahill, and I'm going to find out that there's also a conflict of interest, which is very interesting later on. So, the U.S. Department of, and I have other witnesses to verify that my child was living with me, including the mayor of Nashua at the time, Bernie Streeter, and Elizabeth, who worked with him. I think her last name was Turner. I'm not sure. Brian Christensen and his wife also knew. But Bernie Streeter actually signed a license plate for my daughter and gave it to her back then. Good guy. And then this is when I relocated elsewhere in Nashua, which is still Hillsborough County, not Merrimack County. 38 Squire Drive in Nashua. Again, my daughter's on there. And again, I have the lease. And again, it's 2005 and 2006. This is my lease, as you can see. And we have, again, people who handled my HAP contract for several years. And they make it very clear. On September 14th of 2009, Crystal was a housing choice voucher holder with Harbor Homes from December of 2002 until May of 2008, when she chose to port her voucher to another housing authority in California. When Crystal ported her voucher, her physical address was 38 Squire Drive in Nashua, New Hampshire, and her mailing address was P.O. Box 4070, not 3988, ID 31159 in Concord, New Hampshire. Now, there's a reason for that. And Crystal's daughter, Ardea, was residing with her when she ported a voucher in California. Harbor Homes Incorporated received a copy of a court document stating Ardea was to transition back to her mother, commencing the week of July 4th of 2004. To Harbor Homes Incorporated knowledge, Ardea had been residing with Crystal since the transition was completed, and I have plenty of witnesses to back that up, and plenty of evidence to back that up on the U.S. Department of Urban. There's even school records to prove that she was residing with me. And as you can see, this is a re-signed with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban of 2008. So unless a mayor of a city Harbor Holmes is lying for 10 years, we have a problem. And again, this is a permanent order of custody on support. This is in Merrimack County way back when I did live there, and this is between me and the father. Different case, as you can see, it's documented. Here's what it says. Petitioner Crystal Marshall shall be awarded sole legal and primary physical custody of the minor child should the termination of guardianship occur. Since she was living with me, I started living with me in 2004 and been living with me since. Guess what? This order was the one that was properly in effect, and these people are just trying to make it look like it was not the case. This is old document, but it's still valid. And as you can see, this is the permanent order. And there's no move away orders in there, so that means I could legally, if the father had no involvement for over a decade with my daughter, actually longer than that, then I could indeed leave the state with my daughter. I did not violate any law or anything. So these people are just forging documents to get what they want. They kidnapped my kid, and that is final. And these people also said I didn't have my daughter in school. As you can see, this woman very clearly knew that my daughter used her middle name, which is not illegal to do. But she was enrolled under her real name. And later on, I even enrolled her with this, too. She was partly in public school for a while. And then I had her enrolled with them for the rest of the year. And then I enrolled with these people the following year, which is, by the way, approved by the state of California as a valid school program. So these people lied about her being homeschooled. And this is a valid homeschooling program. It's chartered. And these people lied just to get what they wanted. As you can see, they had her school records. There's nothing going on illegal. There's no truancy involved at all. And after they kidnapped my daughter, they sent a truancy officer trying to say I didn't have her in school. As you can see, these are all valid documents. So these people will just lie and say whatever they want to get whatever they want. And we're going to talk about Lenora Bain and how some other things about her in a different part and section later on. But as you can see, I know that people saw the unsigned document, and I did leave the most obvious, but this is more of an extensive view as to what these people pulled off. Completely illegal. This is nothing more than kidnapping, conflicts of interest, and outright probate fraud. Now it says here that they're not allowed to handle their assets, but I'm sure that they stole estate assets, and I wouldn't be surprised if my own family is involved in this as well. And they should all go to jail for probate fraud. And right now I'm dealing with attempted murder again on my life. That's in part 2. Where I discussed that I was threatened, and I have been dealing with a tapeworm infection in my face, deliberately planted there by the people and by Mr. Clark, who threatened to do this. And they are denying me ER treatment on purpose in hopes that it'll die. Which they do hope I'll die soon because they have invaded my brain. So this is murder by these people. They want to steal an estate, and they're doing this, obviously, by kidnapping children So the United States is nothing more than a disgusting country, in my opinion. And by the way, my grandmother was still alive, and so this might be about her estate. And she is an immigrant. She is a dual citizen of the United States and Canada. She was born in Canada. So that means my birth mom was Canadian, and I might even be considered Canadian, as well as a dual citizen, even though I was born in the United States. And so this is also immigration tied. So this is what the United States do to immigrant families these days. They steal their children, steal their probate, and genocide their families.